Hello everyone, and welcome back to Chill English Channel. We're very happy you're here with us today.
Hi everyone. Whether you're studying English, preparing for work, relaxing at home, or practicing your speaking skills, thank you for learning with us today.
I'm Sophia.
And I'm Jake.
Today's episode will be a little different from some of our deeper emotional conversations.
Yes. Today we're focusing on a very practical and important real-life situation.
Today's topic is English for job interviews.
More specifically, we're going to practice natural English conversations commonly used during interviews.
Many English learners feel nervous about interviews.
Especially when speaking in English.
Even highly skilled people sometimes lose confidence during interviews because of stress and pressure.
That's completely normal.
Interviews can feel intimidating.
Especially when someone is worried about grammar mistakes, pronunciation, or answering questions quickly.
But the good news is that interview English becomes much easier with practice.
Definitely.
And today, we're going to help you learn natural interview vocabulary, useful sentence patterns, and real English conversation skills.
We'll also practice speaking calmly and professionally.
Before we begin today's lesson, if you enjoy learning English through calm and practical conversations like this, please subscribe to Chill English Channel.
Subscribing helps us continue creating useful English lessons for learners around the world.
All right, Jake, let's imagine you are applying for a new job.
Okay, I'll try my best.
Don't worry. Let's begin with one of the most common interview questions in English.
The famous question.
Exactly.
Tell me about yourself.
Many English learners panic when they hear this question.
Because the question sounds simple, but answering naturally can actually feel difficult.
Definitely.
Some learners start talking about their entire life story.
Yes, that happens often.
But in interviews, employers usually want a short professional introduction.
Let's practice a natural answer.
Okay.
Here's an example. Hi, my name is Jake. I have experience working in customer service and communication-related roles.
2. I'm a reliable and organized person, and I enjoy working with people.
3. Recently, I've been looking for opportunities where I can continue improving my professional skills.
That answer sounds calm, professional, and natural.
Notice that the answer is structured clearly.
Introduction.
Experience.
Strengths.
Goals.
Exactly.
Let's teach our listeners a useful sentence pattern.
Good idea.
One useful pattern is, I have experience in blank.
For example, I have experience in customer service.
Or, I have experience working with international clients.
Native speakers use this structure constantly during interviews.
Another useful pattern is, I'm interested in blank.
For example, I'm interested in improving my communication skills.
Or, I'm interested in working in a collaborative environment.
Collaborative environment is excellent interview vocabulary.
Yes, it means a workplace where people work together cooperatively.
Teamwork is highly valued in many workplaces.
Another very common interview question is, why do you want to work here?
Ah, yes. That question appears in almost every interview.
And many learners struggle because they answer too generally.
For example, because I need money.
Honest, but probably not the best interview answer.
Definitely not.
Employers usually want to hear motivation, interest, or professional goals.
Let's practice a better answer.
Here's an example. I'm interested in this position because I admire the company's work environment and values.
I also think this role matches my skills and professional goals.
That answer sounds much more professional.
Another useful phrase is, I believe my skills would be a good fit for this role.
Good fit is a very common professional expression.
It means suitable or compatible.
For example, I believe my communication skills would be a good fit for this position.
Or, I think my previous experience makes me a strong fit for this team.
Let's talk about nervousness during interviews.
Very important topic.
Many people become nervous even before the interview begins.
especially in English interviews.
Nervousness can affect pronunciation, memory, confidence, and speaking speed.
Sometimes people suddenly forget vocabulary they normally know perfectly.
That happens to many learners.
And honestly, it happens to native speakers too sometimes.
Interviews create pressure.
Especially because people want to make a good impression.
Impression is another important interview word.
First impression means the initial opinion someone forms about you.
Professional appearance, body language, eye contact, and tone of voice all affect first impressions.
Confidence is important, but calmness is important too.
Speaking clearly and calmly often sounds more professional than trying to sound overly perfect.
Definitely.
Let's teach another useful sentence pattern.
You can say, one of my strengths is blank.
For example, one of my strengths is communication.
Or, one of my strengths is staying organized under pressure.
Staying organized under pressure is excellent interview vocabulary.
Employers often value people who remain calm during stressful situations.
Another useful pattern is, I'm good at blank.
For example, I'm good at solving problems.
Or, I'm good at working in team environments.
Team environment is another very common workplace phrase.
Let's continue the interview role play.
Okay,
Imagine I'm the interviewer now.
sounds stressful already.
Don't worry.
Okay, I'm ready.
Can you tell me about your previous work experience?
Sure. I previously worked in retail customer service for about 3 years.
Good start.
During that time, I developed communication skills, problem-solving abilities, and experience working in fast-paced environments.
Excellent.
I also learned how to work effectively with different types of customers and coworkers.
That answer sounds natural and professional.
Notice that interview answers usually focus on skills and experience, not unnecessary personal details.
Exactly.
Another important part of interviews is speaking positively.
Especially when discussing previous jobs or challenges.
Employers usually notice attitude very quickly.
Negative answers can create uncomfortable impressions.
For example, imagine this answer. I hated my old manager, and my coworkers were terrible.
Very risky interview answer.
Even if the experience was difficult, professional answers should remain respectful and calm.
A better answer could be, I was looking for new opportunities for professional growth.
Or, I wanted to develop new skills and take on new challenges.
Those answers sound much more professional.
Another common interview question is, what are your strengths and weaknesses?
Many learners feel nervous about the weaknesses question.
Because they don't want to sound unqualified.
The key is honesty with balance.
Exactly.
Employers usually don't expect perfection.
They want self-awareness and willingness to improve.
Self-awareness is a very important professional skill.
Let's practice a natural weakness answer.
Here's an example. Sometimes I focus too much on details, but I've been learning how to manage my time more effectively.
That answer sounds honest but still positive.
Another example. I used to feel nervous speaking in large groups, but I've been improving my confidence through practice.
Employers usually appreciate improvement and growth.
Let's teach another useful sentence pattern.
The pattern is, I've been working on blank.
For example, I've been working on improving my leadership skills.
Or, I've been working on becoming more confident during presentations.
This pattern sounds professional because it shows effort and personal growth.
Another useful interview expression is, I'm eager to learn.
Eager means excited and motivated.
For example, I'm eager to continue developing my professional skills.
Or, I'm eager to learn from experienced team members.
Employers often value positive attitude as much as technical ability.
Especially for positions involving teamwork and communication.
Let's talk briefly about body language.
Very important during interviews.
Eye contact, posture, facial expression, and speaking speed all affect communication.
Looking calm and attentive helps create confidence.
Even small things matter.
Smiling slightly,
Sitting professionally,
listening carefully.
speaking clearly.
Communication is not only vocabulary and grammar,
Professional energy matters too.
and maybe one of the biggest interview lessons is this.
You do not need perfect English to communicate professionally.
Clear communication, calmness, preparation, and confidence often matter more than perfection. Now that we've talked about introductions, strengths, weaknesses, and first impressions, let's continue with more common interview situations.
Yes, in this part, we're going to practice more realistic interview questions and professional English answers.
One very common interview question is, how do you handle stress or pressure?
Employers ask this question because many jobs involve difficult situations sometimes.
Especially jobs involving deadlines, customers, teamwork, or multitasking.
Multitasking means handling several tasks at the same time.
Let's practice a natural answer.
Okay.
Here's an example. I try to stay calm and organized during stressful situations.
I usually focus on prioritizing tasks and solving problems step by step.
I've learned that staying calm helps me work more effectively under pressure.
That answer sounds professional and emotionally balanced.
Another useful expression is work under pressure,
For example, I work well under pressure.
or I've developed the ability to work under pressure during busy periods.
Employers often appreciate people who remain calm during stressful situations.
Another very common interview topic is teamwork.
Teamwork is one of the most important workplace skills.
Many employers want people who communicate well and cooperate professionally.
Even highly skilled employees need teamwork abilities.
Let's imagine another interview question.
Okay.
Here's one. How would your coworkers describe you?
That's a very common interview question.
Yes, and it's actually a great opportunity to describe professional personality traits naturally.
Let's practice an answer.
Here's an example. I think my coworkers would describe me as reliable, cooperative, and easy to work with.
I try to communicate clearly and support my team whenever possible.
Reliable is one of the best professional adjectives.
Definitely.
Reliable employees are trusted to complete responsibilities properly.
Another excellent professional adjective is adaptable.
Adaptable means able to adjust to changes or new situations.
For example, I'm adaptable and comfortable learning new systems.
Modern workplaces change quickly, so adaptability is very valuable.
Let's teach another useful sentence pattern.
You can say, one thing I value in teamwork is blank.
For example, one thing I value in teamwork is clear communication.
Or, one thing I value in teamwork is mutual respect.
Mutual respect is excellent professional vocabulary.
Another common interview question is, why did you leave your previous job?
This question can feel uncomfortable sometimes,
Especially if the previous experience was difficult.
but professional answers should remain calm, respectful, and positive.
Exactly.
Interviewers usually pay attention not only to the answer itself, but also to attitude and professionalism.
Let's compare two answers.
Okay.
Bad example. My manager was terrible and I hated working there.
Very emotional and risky answer.
Much better example. I was looking for opportunities to continue growing professionally.
Or, I wanted to develop new skills and explore new challenges.
Those answers sound mature and professional.
Another common interview question is, where do you see yourself in 5 years?
Many learners find this question difficult because they are unsure about their future.
And honestly, many people are unsure.
Very true.
Employers usually do not expect a perfect life plan.
They mainly want to hear motivation, growth, and long-term interest.
Let's practice a natural answer.
Here's an example. In 5 years, I hope to continue improving my professional skills and taking on more responsibilities.
I'd also like to grow within a supportive and collaborative work environment.
That answer sounds ambitious but realistic.
Another useful phrase is, take on more responsibilities.
This means accepting more important tasks or leadership roles.
Employers often appreciate ambition when it sounds balanced and professional.
Let's talk about communication skills.
Extremely important in interviews,
Many jobs today require strong communication abilities.
especially customer service, management, teamwork, education, healthcare, and business-related roles.
Good communication includes more than just speaking.
Listening skills matter too.
Active listening is very important professionally.
Active listening means paying careful attention and responding thoughtfully during conversations.
Interviewers often notice communication style very quickly.
Speaking too fast, interrupting, or giving unclear answers can create problems.
Calm communication usually creates a stronger professional impression.
Let's teach another useful sentence pattern.
You can say, I've developed strong skills.
For example, I've developed strong communication skills.
Or, I've developed strong problem-solving skills.
Problem solving is another very important workplace phrase.
Employers highly value people who can solve problems independently and calmly.
Another common interview question is, tell me about a challenge you faced at work.
This question tests both communication and emotional maturity.
Employers want to see how people handle difficulties professionally.
Let's practice a natural answer.
Okay,
Here's an example. One challenge I faced was managing multiple customer requests during very busy periods.
at first it felt stressful, but I learned how to prioritize tasks and stay organized.
That experience improved my time management and communication skills.
Excellent structure.
Situation,
Challenge,
solution,
result.
exactly.
Structured answers sound much clearer during interviews.
Another useful workplace phrase is meet deadlines.
Deadlines are dates when work must be completed.
For example, I'm comfortable working under pressure and meeting deadlines.
Time management is highly valued professionally.
Another major part of interviews is confidence.
But confidence does not mean sounding arrogant.
Exactly.
Professional confidence usually sounds calm, clear, and balanced.
Arrogance often sounds exaggerated or overly self-focused.
Let's compare two examples.
Bad example. I'm the best employee everywhere I go.
Very risky answer.
Better example. I'm confident in my communication and teamwork abilities.
Or, I believe my previous experience has prepared me well for this position.
Those answers sound confident but professional.
Another important interview skill is asking questions.
Many learners forget that interviews are two-way conversations.
Employers ask questions, but candidates can ask questions too.
Asking thoughtful questions shows interest and preparation.
Let's practice some professional interview questions.
Good idea. For example, what does a typical day in this role look like?
Or, what qualities are most important for success in this position?
Another good question is, what opportunities are available for professional development?
Professional development means improving skills and career growth over time.
Employers usually appreciate candidates who show motivation to learn.
Let's teach another useful sentence pattern.
You can say, I'm interested in continuing to develop my blank. For example, I'm interested in continuing to develop my leadership skills.
Or, I'm interested in continuing to develop my communication abilities.
Continuous improvement is viewed positively in many workplaces.
Another thing learners often struggle with is speaking too briefly.
Yes, very short answers can sound nervous or unprepared.
For example, what are your strengths? Communication.
Technically correct, but not very strong professionally.
A stronger answer would sound like this. One of my strengths is communication.
I work well with customers and team members, and I try to stay calm and professional during difficult situations.
That answer sounds much more natural and confident.
Another common issue is memorizing answers too perfectly.
Yes, over-memorized answers sometimes sound robotic.
Natural communication sounds more relaxed and flexible.
Preparation is important, but conversations should still feel human.
Employers often notice authenticity.
Authentic means genuine and real.
Authentic communication usually creates stronger trust during interviews.
Another important point is pronunciation.
Many learners worry too much about sounding like native speakers.
But clear pronunciation matters much more than having a perfect accent.
Interviewers mainly want understandable communication.
Confidence, clarity, professionalism, and calmness matter much more.
And maybe one of the biggest interview lessons is this.
You do not need perfect English to succeed professionally.
Strong communication is about clarity, preparation, attitude, and confidence, and those skills improve naturally through practice and experience.
Now that we've practiced introductions, teamwork questions, professional communication, and common interview situations, let's focus on something very practical.
Yes, in this final part, we're going to practice natural interview English more deeply and review useful speaking patterns.
We'll also talk about common mistakes English learners make during interviews.
And how to sound more fluent, calm, and professional naturally.
Let's begin with one of the most important interview skills, answer structure.
Structured answers sound clearer and more professional.
Many learners become nervous and begin speaking without organization.
Which is completely understandable during stressful situations.
But having a simple structure helps communication feel much smoother.
One easy structure is situation, action, result.
Let's practice an example.
Okay.
Imagine the interviewer asks, "Can you describe a difficult situation at work?"
A strong answer could sound like this. In my previous job, we experienced a very busy holiday season.
That's the situation.
I helped organize customer requests and supported my coworkers during stressful periods.
That's the action.
As a result, our team improved communication and handled the workload more efficiently.
That's the result.
Structured answers help listeners follow your ideas more easily.
Especially during interviews where clarity matters a lot.
Another important skill is giving balanced answers.
What do you mean by balanced?
Professional answers should sound confident but not arrogant.
Yes, that balance is very important.
For example, "I know everything already" sounds overly confident and unrealistic.
A better answer could be, "I'm confident in my current skills, but I'm always interested in learning more."
That sounds much more professional and emotionally mature.
Let's teach another useful sentence pattern.
Good idea.
The pattern is, "I'm confident in my ability to blank."
For example, "I'm confident in my ability to communicate with customers professionally."
Or, "I'm confident in my ability to adapt to new environments."
Adaptability is one of the most valuable modern workplace skills.
Especially because workplaces and technology change quickly.
Another very important interview topic is problem solving.
Employers love candidates who can solve problems calmly and independently.
Especially during stressful situations.
Let's imagine another interview question.
Okay,
How do you handle difficult customers or conflicts?
that's a very common interview question.
Especially for customer service, hospitality, retail, healthcare, and office jobs.
Here's an example answer. "I try to remain calm and listen carefully before reacting."
Very good.
I believe respectful communication usually helps solve misunderstandings more effectively.
Excellent professional tone.
I also try to focus on finding solutions instead of creating more conflict.
That answer sounds calm, mature, and professional.
Notice how important emotional control is during interviews.
Definitely.
Employers often evaluate attitude as much as technical skill.
Especially in jobs involving teamwork or communication.
Another common interview topic is learning new skills.
Modern workplaces often require continuous learning.
Technology changes quickly, systems change, responsibilities change.
Employees who are willing to learn are highly valued.
Let's teach another useful sentence pattern.
You can say, "I'm always willing to learn blank."
For example, "I'm always willing to learn new systems and technologies."
Or, "I'm always willing to learn from experienced coworkers."
Willing to learn is one of the most positive phrases in interviews.
Another useful professional phrase is take initiative.
Taking initiative means acting independently without always waiting for instructions.
For example, "I try to take initiative whenever possible."
Employers often appreciate proactive employees.
Proactive means taking action early and responsibly.
Another important interview skill is listening carefully.
Many nervous learners focus so much on preparing answers that they stop listening fully.
But communication is a two-way process.
Active listening creates stronger conversations.
It also helps candidates answer questions more accurately.
Let's talk about some common interview mistakes.
Good idea.
Mistake number 1, speaking too quickly.
Nervousness often causes learners to rush their answers.
But speaking slightly slower usually sounds more professional and confident.
Clear communication matters more than speed.
Mistake number 2, using overly simple answers.
For example, what are your strengths? I hardworking.
Understandable, but not natural English.
A stronger answer would sound like this. One of my strengths is staying organized during busy situations.
Or, I'm hardworking and I communicate well with team members.
Adding small details makes answers sound much more fluent,
Mistake number 3, being too negative.
especially when discussing previous jobs or challenges.
Even difficult experiences should be described professionally.
Calm language creates a much better impression than emotional complaints.
Another common mistake is apologizing too much.
Ah, yes.
Some learners constantly say, "Sorry for my English."
Or, my English is very bad.
That can reduce confidence during interviews.
Instead, focus on communicating clearly and professionally.
Confidence grows through practice, not perfection.
Exactly.
Let's introduce another useful professional phrase.
The phrase is, I'm looking forward to blank.
For example, I'm looking forward to learning more about this opportunity.
Or, I'm looking forward to contributing to the team.
Looking forward to sounds polite, professional, and positive.
Another useful expression is, I appreciate the opportunity.
For example, I appreciate the opportunity to interview for this position.
Professional politeness matters a lot during interviews.
Let's practice a short interview ending.
Good idea.
Interviewer, do you have any final questions?
Candidate. Yes, thank you. I'd like to ask about opportunities for growth within the company.
Excellent.
I'm very interested in continuing to develop my professional skills.
Very professional answer.
Interviewer. Thank you for coming today.
Candidate, thank you for your time. I appreciate the opportunity to speak with you.
That sounds calm, respectful, and natural.
Let's do a little speaking practice.
If possible, try answering these interview questions out loud.
First question, can you tell me about yourself?
Second question, what are your strengths?
Third question, how do you handle stress or pressure?
Fourth question, why do you want this job?
Fifth question, what professional skills would you like to improve?
Try using the sentence patterns we practiced today.
For example, I have experience in,
Or, one of my strengths is,
or I'm interested in continuing to develop my.
speaking out loud helps professional English become more natural and automatic.
And interview practice becomes much easier through repetition and confidence building.
Before we finish, let's quickly review what we talked about today.
We practiced introductions, strengths, weaknesses, teamwork questions, and problem-solving answers.
We also learned useful interview vocabulary, sentence patterns, and professional expressions.
We discussed common mistakes learners should avoid during English interviews.
And we practiced speaking calmly, clearly, and professionally.
Most importantly, we learned that successful communication does not require perfect English.
Preparation, confidence, attitude, and clarity matter much more.
Interviews become easier when learners stop trying to sound perfect and focus instead on communicating naturally.
Confidence grows through practice and experience.
Now it's time for our question of the day.
What interview question makes you feel the most nervous?
Write your answer in the comments.
You can begin your sentence like this. One interview question I find difficult is,
We always enjoy reading your answers.
it's a wonderful way to practice your English writing skills.
If you enjoyed this episode, please like, comment, and subscribe to Chill English channel.
Subscribing helps us continue creating calm and useful English lessons for learners around the world.
Keep practicing a little every day.
And remember, learning English is a journey.
Goodbye, everyone.
See you next time.